Hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Man's Sky 2.3 Perma 2020. We're building a farm. I was going to skip a whole bunch of this farm building and go on back to exploring, but I've had several requests continue doing the farm building. I've done a little bit. Today we're going to add in we're going to put both supply depots, and we're going to add in one of the mining sections. So what I did was I installed 40 biodomes, 20 for circuit boards and 20 for living glass. I have gotten just a few of the circuit boards planted, just these 5. And then I put in a little bit of extra selenium, and looks like I put in some extra star bulb. There's the extra selenium right there. Because I had so very little. Looks like I missed one. That's weird. Maybe it deleted. And I put an exit over here. I'm going to put in several exits after I do the planting because it takes so much space, And I went and got carbon planters, and I put those in. I just put the wire right in front of them. It's a nice, neat, straight line. All those wires are going to have to be cleaned up when I'm all done. So I also put in a GTT right here, and I should have put it on the other side because it's actually blocking the stairs. I've already bought metal plate. So I think I'm actually going to move it, but I'm going to put in the landing pad first. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it has to be over 1, but let's give it a try. So we're going to put in a wall. And I don't know if you still have to have a connecting tube for that. Let's find out. Nope. And we're going to turn it around so that the computer is over there in that upper right corner. And that way the ship is facing a direction that is helpful when you get out of the ship. So we just drop that. And now we're going to get rid of this. Now we're going to come up here, and you see this gap right here? We don't want that gap. So here's the hard part. I call this the hard part because for me it is the hard part. The part we want is this floor piece, and you can see it won't go in there, but this part will. So on keyboard, you need to hit the tab to go over, which I have to look at the keyboard, is the letter E, and the place at the same time. On PS4, you need to go da-dum. So change over and then place. So change, place, da-dum. Just like that, in that timing. So here's the hard part. Here it goes 1. And it also helps if you're facing it. Here we go. This is going too well. This is not normal for me. Did you see how it went down like that? You don't want that to happen. You want it to be up. But you need to be like up, just up. And see, there we go. There we go. And if I'm going to put the ATM here, I can't put this floor piece here. So if we're going to move that, let's go grab the actual GTT so we get the parts back. And then we will get rid of the room, and I'll show you why. My stairs are right here. Clunk! So we'll take that out, and we'll put it on this side. We have to turn that piece around. And over. There we go. And then back to cubes. There we go. And then we'll put the ATM back in, the GTT. Alrighty. Now we just did a little bit here. Call the ship up so that we don't have to waste fuel. And I'm going to save. Not upload, save. I don't want to upload until I'm done building and I pick up all the beacons. So let's see here. What was something else that I had to do? I also had to rebuild the the power hotspot. I think I'll put a stair right there if it'll go in. Rather than jumping up and down. Did that go all the way? Yeah, awesome. So I had to rebuild the power because I wasn't getting power. And I decided to build a platform of them and then start piling them on top of each other. It was just easier to build. This is a platform for building, which raises the build camera. And let's see. So I can show you that I can get much higher up with the build camera now because I'm one level higher off the ground. And that'll probably have to go up higher when I decide to go ahead and build that. Now let's go see if we have to rebuild any of this. I was talking to Lava about this, and I had a problem on a different save where it wasn't letting me build, even though I had all of this in there. And he said sometimes you have to rebuild these if you leave the game and come back. And we'll just see. Just turn on the build menu, and we'll run out there. And it doesn't show you that you're in the build menu. See the base computer until you pick something. Now that I've picked something, you can see the little hammer there on the build menu. So you have to be all the way in. So we'll just run over here. See if our build menu stays on all the way over there. What's the matter with you? How come you don't grow back? That impulse beam is broken. Remember, all I've done is string the wire. You can't put in the supply pipe until you actually have the device in, whether it's mining or the gas extractor. And we do have one, but we're going to go back and put in a supply depot. All right, so we still have the build menu on. Let's pick something and look over at the base computer, and you can see the little hammer is still there. So we're good. Our mineral extractor is good. And it's for paraffinium. So let's run back over to the base, put in a supply depot. Now, if this was on normal mode, or creative, I don't know why you would do it on creative, but if it was on normal mode, you were going to need more than one supply depot. And we don't. We just need this. There's some stairs. Now the carbon extractors, the carbon planters, are for the condensed carbon that you need to build stasis devices with. I think I am going to, let's see, where's the paraffinium? I think we'll go upstairs for this. You want to try to make sure that you don't have that it doesn't hang over the actual landing pad. Change direction for me. I had it, and now it doesn't want to be. All right. Let's do it over here. Oops. There's a certain amount, Kevin from Action Pants Gaming last night was saying, there is a certain amount of stuff hanging over that you can do of the landing pad. And but I think that if you're covering that little circle right there, you're going to have problems. So we are going to go right here. Probably would have been easier to put the floor in first. As you can see, if I get out of my ship right there, I'm going to have a problem. So let's go this way. And I still have to enclose all this stuff too. So, paraffinium. I think we'll bring it right here. Oops. And supply depot. There we go. Supply depot does not need to be powered. It only needs pipe. Now then, let's make sure that we have enough ferrite and carbon. We need regular carbon before we start to build the pipe. Because otherwise, if you run out, then you have to start all over. And I might actually move this later because I think I actually want it to be over here. It's only 2 supply depots, but it kind of looks trippy. My bases are like this. They're like, they've got weird little angles and stuff to them like that. All right, let's go this way. Now, I don't know if it's necessary if you start at the actual extractor or the gas or mineral extractor first. I don't know if that's necessary. I'm just going to do it, just to be on the safe side. And we do need a lot more than just one of these. Let's go ahead and put in this connection. Oh, fingers, you can do this thing. All right. Now we're going to go as far as we possibly can. And the limit is 200 units before we make a connection. And you can tell because what you're dragging along, the supply pipe will turn pink when you can't go any further. So you don't need to worry about measuring anything out. You'll be able to see that turn pink. And then you just need to back up and do a connection. It's still green. Now I want to stay next to these pylons because there it turned pink. I want to stay next to these pylons because when you extend your base, it's not it doesn't go out 360 degrees. It's a cone of extension. So it just extends in this little cone away from your base here. It says I can make 36 of these, so I might drop one down here just to keep it on the ground. There we go. Next to the base anyway. Okay, let's look up and see where we're at. It's pretty high off the ground all the way across there. About right there. And then we'll go up the hill to right underneath where the supply depot is. And then we'll go up the stairs and walk around. Rather than jumping. Now, if you start this with the build camera, you have to stay in the build camera. If you start this without the build camera, you have to stay outside of the build camera. All right. Here's our connection. It comes right up through the floor. And let's power it and see if it's working. It should be, because I did test ahead of time to see that everything was functioning by going out there with the build menu. I'm going to go straight up there. Lines are still blue. We'll go back up here. Question is, did I connect the power to the actual device? I don't know. It says 1250, but it's not taking on any fuel, so I may not have powered it. And if it's not working, then I'm going to have to rebuild bits and pieces here and there. If you have to rebuild the actual extractor, then you're going to have to rebuild the entire pipe. Looks like I did not connect the power, which was probably smart at the time. There we go. It's a working. So our first one is going to do 490 per hour. We don't need a ton of this because this is permadeath and we don't have room for a ton of it. But I'll pile them up there. And then I'm already connected to the entire network. I can put in more. And oops, keep doing that. Mineral extractor. I'm gonna put this one right next to it. Boing. We'll put in this connection. Oh, didn't see the connection go in. There it is. And it also needs power. Now we got two of them going. Now you can also use the beat box to time these things. For that, I'm going to have to direct you to Kibbles or Beeblebum or one of those guys because they know how to do that. Setting it up so that the beat box sets one off, then the next, then the next. It's kind of like a timer thing. Bounce, bounce. So we have 490 from that one because it's right dead on the spot, and only 482 from this one because it's not dead on the spot. So everything that I pile directly on top of this one is going to get 490 an hour. So you see how that little bit of space makes, it makes a difference of 8 per hour. Let's go look at our supply depot again. Poor little thing. I wonder what broke it. It's been days. I picked it the day I found the planet. That may be a temporary location for all those containers as well. Alright, now it's not going to have any in it, but it should be filling. And you see the little green arrows? It's filling. So now we're getting 1,500 is the overall storage, 972 per hour. I think I'd like to get maybe twice that, maybe 3 times that, possibly. It's an awful lot to store and to do all at once for making stasis devices. Alrighty, let's see where we're at. The nitrogen is up here, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to open the build menu, and we're going to go up to the nitrogen. This is so that we don't go out of our way building stuff that we're just going to have to rebuild and have the hiccups. And we'll check the base computer has the little hammer on it. So we'll keep going. So just a prevent aggravation measure. Stuck. It's too steep here. Which is good for the supply pipe because that means it's going to be mostly underground. But it's probably going to take more connections to keep it on the ground. You can hang the supply pipe on these little brace things if you want it up in the air, a la Alaskan pipeline. All right, let's get up there, and then we'll turn around and look back at the base computer. And you can see the little hammer is still there on the base computer, okay? And we have one gas extractor right there for nitrogen. It's only capable of storing 250, and it's only a C class, so it's not going to get very much. We're going to need a bunch of these. Alrighty. Oh, I almost got hit by a ship. Ouch, ouch. Just bouncing down the hillside. Ouch, stubbed my toe. This looks like a big farm, but it isn't. It's a permadeath farm. A big farm is quite a bit bigger than this. And this is probably big enough. Once I've got everything built and uploaded, it's probably big enough to slow my game down a little bit. But that's my computer. My computer has that problem. No, I don't want to go that way. Let's see where it comes out when I do this. Oh, it puts me right up on the deck anyway. I guess I'll go this way anyway. Since I'm going to be on the deck anyway. This is totally unnecessary. I just think it's fun. This is just my way of building. Alright, now we need a gas extractor supply depot. I actually forgot the most important part. We need to color that yellow. And we need to color this one paraffinium colored. And I'll probably put where's Periwinkle? I'll probably put the um, refiner, the large refiner up here as well. It looks like it'll fit right there. You need more than one though, especially in permadeath and survival because, oops, I need a floor first, because you can only refine just a little tiny bit at a time. Get your foot out of the floor. Here we go. The max you can refine at one time is 250. So it's kind of irritating, you know. Alright, there is our supply depot. Let's go drag some lines. Oh, all of my shields seem to be down. Here we go. Someday I'm going to use up all of those life support gels. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's going to be a long time. Alright. Let's go ahead and hook up the power this time. Oh, it is hooked up. I knew I hooked up one of them. Yeah. Industrial supply lines. And I can make 28 of them, so let's go. Try not to get hit by any ships. After I get down this hillside, I'll go ahead and make a junction so it's not just hanging through the air. It's really hard to walk on the side of a mountain. Whoops. Gotta make a junction first. There we go. It's strange that it can only be 200 units. To me, that's odd. I just think it's a weird choice. By the way, you can't probably go through the dihydrogen. And you see that red there? We're gonna have to go down there and make a connection. I could have destroyed the dihydrogen first, but I guess I didn't realize it was there. See if I can run faster. Right. Now, down here at the bottom of the hill, I'll make a connection. Then we'll drag it over here. Underneath the supply depot. Let's see. A little bit more right here. Alright, and we'll bring it right up to that connection. There we go. Now we need to hook up the power. I like doing it this way because then I can keep track, you know, of how much I'm using power-wise a little bit better. This is just my thing. Most of the people that I've watched build this stuff actually build the whole thing first and then power it. Oops, I missed the power connection. There we go. And we're still blue. All of the power will shut off for everything when you're using too much power. So now we are using 2,409 out of 6,137. And we'll go back up here to the nitrogen. This crazy mountain. Too many mountains to climb. And of course it won't let you run. There we go. Okay. Here we are. We are working. You can see the thing is going up and down. We are making 247 an hour, which is not even remotely close enough to what we need. It looks like we're going to need like 10 of these things because it's a C class. I might take the time to go see if I could find a higher class, but it is just a matter of applying more. And there's a chart on zanesworld.com that shows you exactly how many you need for the results. It does require you do a little bit of math. His is set up, I believe, to get 32,000, and out of each different kind of spot, it will tell you how many you need. All right. We might need more than one of these. And we'll check this end, and 247 an hour in 5 hours. We'll have 1,250. I don't want to wait 5 hours, so I'm going to add more of the nitrogen extractors. Great. Save. Kind of like that it puts me on the deck. That's kind of cool. I think we'll turn around because that sun is far too bright. All right, you guys, we put in a landing pad and we glitched some flooring up to it. I didn't show you how the deck goes up to that biodome. That's just proximity. It didn't actually put a door in. And we put in the carbon extractors, and I showed you those are there. We added supply lines from our very first extractors, both for the paraffinium and the nitrogen. And since we have the carbon planters, we don't really need the oxygen, although I may go ahead and hook up the oxygen. It's right there, right past the power supply. I may go ahead and do that because if you use oxygen, you can more than double the amount of supplies that you have, and that includes for the nitrogen, radon, and sulfurine. If you add oxygen to those things, it also increases their yield, and so that saves some work. It also saves some base complexity. Using oxygen cuts down on the number of extractors that you have to build. And that's a thought that you might have when you're building in permadeath, is to increase things in the refiner rather than in these things which add complexity to your base. All right, I have 40 domes to plant. It's going to drive me insane. I'll bring you some of that planting later on in the week. I want to thank you all so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.